say to all of you, Your Eminence, your blessing. There is a church in Thessaloniki dedicated to Saint Mina. What I knew about the church, it was from my mother and my father, because they got their wedding ceremony in the church of Saint Mina. So we have got pictures at home. My mother and my father, they were holding candlesticks, and they were very happy because they got married in the church of Saint Mina. In 1996, I made my first film in the Greek television. Today, I count 164 films with various TV channels in Greece. With the national television, 16, with a church television, the 4Es, which has got satellite program, 48 documentary films, and with channel Egnatia, I have made so far 105 documentary films. So I was very impressed with my first entrance to mass media when I worked for the National Television of Greece, and I made a film about Alexander the Great called The Baptistry of Alexander the Great, because in a grave close to the place where the royal tombs were found, there have been written 22 names, 22 people. They have been buried in the same grave, and the grandson was getting the name of his grandfather. This is a rule in Greece. So, Kallias of Artemidoros, Artemidoros of Kallias, Kallias of Artemidoros. For generations, they repeat the same name of their grandfather. When I went to the religious TV, I have started with Saint Demetrius and the Fayums, because it was a special exhibition of Fayum portraits in my hometown, Thessaloniki. But although the Fayums and some mummies have been brought to Thessaloniki, we have not been allowed to photograph them. So the film has been postponed for a certain time afterwards. And it was very nice to get clear, very clear pictures from the internet. It is not necessary to have the mummy in front of you, because the internet has got the best photos. So while the film of Fayum has been postponed for 7 months, I was starting with the churches of Thessaloniki. And my first film was referring to the patron saint of Thessaloniki, Saint Demetrius, the perfume springer. From his holy relics, there is perfume springing out, myrrh. And then the dates were passing, and I made a film about Saint Nicholas, Saint Catherine, Saint Minas, And this is how we come to Saint Minas. We knew the church from the wedding of our parents, and now I come to the church of Saint Minas, which was the only Christian church in my city, Thessaloniki, during the Ottoman rule. We have been occupied by the Turks, and the Turkish Ottoman occupation has durated for 484 years, from 1430 up to 1912, 1913. Long time. In Thessaloniki, the Turks found 168 Byzantine churches. It was too much to destroy. They had to have an army to destroy all churches. They said, why to destroy them? We transfigurate them to mosques. So they painted the walls, they covered the mosaics, the frescoes, and they made them mosques. By the beginning of the 20th century, Thessaloniki was still under the Ottoman rule. Thessaloniki is the second port of Greece after Piraeus, which is close to Athens. And many foreigners were coming to Thessaloniki. So for diplomatic reasons, the Turks have allowed at least one Christian church to exist in Thessaloniki. In the meantime, the Catholics have got their own church. We call it Frangon, of the Franks, of the French. It was dedicated to San Francisco di Assisi. The only Christian church was the Church of Saint Minas. The Church of Saint Minas is close to the port, and it has got its own scala. Scala means port. A small bridge where boats could land around it. And the local people called Saint Minas Church the Ark of Noah. Why? Because one wall, a full wall of the church, has got a very primitive Christian decoration. Because people in the Christian church, they could buy their own stasidi. Stasidi is where you stand on it or you support yourself on the wall and you decorate it the way you like. You can have in your place mosaic. The next place, which belongs to Georgi, it can be marble, black marble from Sicily. The next can be red marble from Alexandria, from Egypt. The next can be green marble from Proconnesus. And the wall of Saint Minas has got marble decoration with small different pictures. Pictures of animals. Lion, lioness. Peacock, male. Peacock, female. Tiger, male. Tiger, female. Elephant, male. Elephant, female. Why? Because the church is like the ark. We are protected and we save all kinds inside. So this is how I have started describing the church as a monument and knowing that the church was the place where our father and mother have started their lives together as a family. And then I saw the icon of Saint Minas. riding on his horse. He was dressed like a military man of the Roman times, and I got familiar to his life, which maybe you know, but I will describe it in my own way. What I found out from synaxari. Syn means together, where you gather many informations and you make synaxari, which means you write the biography of a saint. Saint Mina was born here, in Cairo, which was called Nikion. And his family has got lots of problems. His father was very cruel to him, according to Synaxari. He, every day, has beaten him many times. So when he got the age to join the army, he joined the Roman army in order to go far away from the pressure and the cruelty of his family. And one day, the army has stationed him, sent him to Kotiaion. Kotiaion is what today the Turks call a city, Kütahya, close to Izmir. He goes there as a Roman officer, and he is sent to kill Christians. Christians are bad. Christians are forming a power against the empire. Christians are to be killed by the Romans. So he is sent to kill Christians in his territory. He says, how can I kill people? I can't do it. Why? They are killing Christians because they believe to one God. Let me see who is the only God they believe. So when he has got his information, he said, I can't do it. And in order to go himself out of the army, he gave back his belt. The belt was symbolizing that he belonged to the army. So he has put on the table his belt and said, I don't belong to the Roman army anymore. And he went up to the mountains. One day in Kotiaion, Kütahya, they have got a very big local celebration. So Saint Minas came from the mountain down in the town, and he has started talking to the people. He was telling them, you know, all those gods to whom you believe, they are not real. There is only one God, and that is why he has been arrested. And he was accused for his action to face 4 times the death penalty. I was hearing 5 times to death, 3 times to death, and I could not realize what it means. So, firstly, he was put behind a horse. The horse was running very fast, and his body was lying on the ground where there were wild plants, stinky, and all his body was wounded. But he did not die from this kind of death. Then he was put on a tree, and on his wounds they used to throw vinegar like alcohol, and he was screaming from pain. And they put fire in the wounds, and the alcohol was burning on his body. but he did not die. Then he was told, now we will bring you to the executor. He will cut your head, and then your dead body, it will be put in fire, and we will burn you down. You will disappear. Nobody will hear again about you. Saint Minas, while he was brought to the last death penalty, he said, is there a man here who can understand me? My birthplace is Nikion, Cairo. If there are any remains from my relics, please bring them home. And there were people, merchants, they have heard of his voice, and after his head was cut and his relics have been put in fire, they have collected the relics, they put them in an urna, a box, and they brought them to Egypt. The camels, how they could travel in the desert, you know better than myself. They stopped in a place and nobody could make them move. So the place where the camels have stopped, it was symbolic. They buried him in that very place, which was called El Alamein. And we come to the last modern times. Rommel, called the fox of the desert, and the Germans are here. The Allies, Greeks, they have come with the Greek gold. They are in Egypt. And Montgomery, General Montgomery, he is leading the English troops against the Germans in the desert. And because of information from the two parts, they meet each other in the middle of the desert, where Rommel is bringing his famous German tanks, but he is being stopped by a miracle. Camels have come and stopped him in the middle of the desert. So, according to my information, the English and the Greeks have built in that very place the monastery of Saint Minas. So when you are going to see my film, you will see an officer of the Greek army who is putting the Greek flag in the place. That is former General Andreas Koukouras, our father. And you must know that in the church of Saint Minas, one of the priests who made the wedding of our father and mother, together with a former Bishop of Rhodos Island, was our grandfather from my mother's side, who was priest Michail Pichokos. So, now we are going to see the life of Saint Minas through the film. Why the Greek people know him so well, and why in Thessaloniki, in Lesbos Island, Mytilene, while in Heraklion of Creta, and why in Constantinople they knew and celebrated and honored Saint Minas. I will tell you the stories according to my information. Constantinople. There is a merchant who is traveling with his camels, and he wants to sleep in a hotel, in a small inn in Constantinople. So he finds a place and he gives in advance the money to have some rest. The hotel owner has seen in his pockets lots of money. Oh, he says, the man is very rich. So when he went to sleep, he killed him, he cuts him in pieces and puts the pieces in a secret place. Saint Mina, who has seen what he has done, he goes and searches for the merchant. And the hotel owner says, oh, there was such a man, he has passed by my hotel, but now he's traveling far away from here. And Saint Minas takes him to the secret place and says, whose parts are those? And the hotel owner collapsed and said, I saw the money, I'm not rich, I'm poor, and I thought of getting the money, forgive me. And Saint Minas said, you are forgiven. And he takes the pieces and gives life to the poor merchant again, after a great miracle. Creta Island, the biggest Greek island. It is coming Easter, the biggest celebration of the Christian people. All people are in the church waiting to hear Jesus Christ, Christos Anesti. And while all the people are in there, the Turks know how to do harm to them. They say, we will make fires around the church, we will burn them down all, as we can get them all together in the church. And while they are thinking of doing so, there is Saint Minas who is coming, riding on his horse, but nobody has realized that he was a different person, because there was a local leader of the Turkish army called Ayan Aga, who resembled to Saint Minas. He says, out, out, stop the fires. The plan has been cancelled. We are not going to do it. And the plan has been cancelled. That is why the cathedral church, the metropolis of Heraklion, Creta, is been dedicated to Saint Minas. And they celebrate the event not the very day, the Saturday of the Assumption, but they celebrate it with epitaphs, and they bring the icon of Saint Minas as savior around the church, and they make 3 cycles to honor Saint Minas for his great miracle. There is another miracle of Saint Minas, connecting him with Saint Victor and Saint Vicendius, because they celebrate the very day. There was a rich man who has got an idea to offer as a present to Saint Minas a silver disc where they serve coffee and tea like here. So he made 2, one for himself and one to be dedicated to the church of Saint Minas. But when he saw the 2 pieces, he said, this is better. I will keep it for myself, and I will give the other one to Saint Minas. So while he was traveling to go from one place to another by boat, he said to his servant, servant, serve me the tea. The servant has served him the tea, but going close to the end of the boat, the sea suddenly became rough and he disappeared with the coffee and the disc in his hands. The master of the slave said, "Oh, Saint Minas, I regret I made a very big mistake because I made 2 discs and I gave you the poor one. So it was my mistake. I lost my 7. I do regret." So when they got to the first port and they have landed there, the servant was waiting with a disc, the tea ready to be served. And the master said, "How come and you are alive?" The slave said, "Master, when I was getting deeper and deeper and deeper in the seawater, I saw 3 men. They said, 'Don't worry, we will take you to a safe place.' One man was old and he has got white beard. The 2 others were middle-aged and the other one was much younger. And their names were Minas, Victor, and Vicendius. And that's why we celebrate the 3 of them the same day." And the last big miracle is when the eve day before Saint Minas, 3 crippled men, they go outside the church. They are not covered, although it is cold, and they pray all night. One cannot hear, the other one is crippled, and the other one has lost his hand. So during the night, the one who cannot hear, he is deaf, he says, "You hear of the bells ringing?" The other one says, "Of course, I will let him know." And the crippled one says, "Oh, bells are ringing. We must go inside the church. Let's run." And the 3 of them could hear. They could have touch feeling on their hands. And the one who was crippled, he has got his leg and he has started running. Thank you. You will see my film. And when it is necessary, we will make some stops to understand of what I'm telling you about. Thank you very much. Bless me.